Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to have a look at something just behind me over here. I just went out and picked myself up a Waeco drawer fridge. This is now my third 12 volt fridge that I've got. I just absolutely love having a fridge in the back of the Pajero, and I love my 12 volt compressor fridges. So much so that I even swapped the one out in the caravan. If you've got a caravan, you've got a three-way fridge and you absolutely hate it like I did mine. It just wasn't getting down to temperature, so it had to come out. Found a 12 volt fridge, swapped it over. All but a perfect fit. There's a card to the video up there if you want to see that install and why I went through that process and how that all worked out. In the end, happy as a pig in it. Couldn't be happier. Just never going back to one of those three-way fridges. Just don't like them. So now I have three 12 volt fridges for the car. The original one I had was a giant 40 odd litre. That was the first one. It was reasonably cheap. Picked it up second hand. It's been great. Still works. It's sitting in the shed. That comes out, you know, if we have parties or something, I can run a lead out to it, have it sitting out where people want to access drinks. I've got the little Waeco. It's about a 30 something odd litre, 32 I think. One of the guys at work was just getting rid of that, and I got that off him really cheap. Sometimes when I'm camping, depending on how long I'm gone for, if I need a bigger fridge, what I'll do is take the little Waeco out, stick the giant in, and then I've got, you know, an additional 10 litres to play with. And it is quite the bigger fridge, so it does take up a lot more space. So it's not the one that travels in the car as a regular thing. I like to have the small one. With that in mind, that's why I got the little drawer fridge. I want to take this and put it into the box cabinet or the sleeper build in the back of the Pajero and be able to draw that out from the other side, which will be the side that'll be undercover. The good news is that it means I'm not going to be standing on the road side, you know, accessing my fridge. It is going to be a little bit smaller, and I'm not entirely sure that the box style fridge is as convenient as a, you know, the normal open lid type at the top. It does need a little bit of a clean, but we'll worry about that later on. I've had it on last night, just letting it run. It works fine. Super quiet. This is the quietest fridge I've ever heard, or not heard in this instance. Absolutely brilliant. So around about 3.5 amps, I think, is the most I've seen it on startup. It tends to settle down around about this 2 amp mark. When it's not running, it's not using any current at all. It's not drawing any power, which is nice, and that's because it doesn't have an LCD display or any sort of display. It's actually just got the rotary dial there as far as the thermostat goes. That fan, you can see the fan is running and hear how quiet that is. Probably a couple of feet above the compressor there, you can hear the noise. Very quiet. Guys that watch the channel, guys and girls that watch the channel that are here for amateur radio stuff, I have another video coming up soon. This is the HD1 that I did a review for, did a bit of a play with it out in the field just there. You can see that is a second one. Now this one is the GPS model. I am looking at getting this operating on APRS, so stick around if you want to see a video on how to get your HD1 sorted out and working on APRS. For those that aren't into radio, don't worry about it. Now let's give you a closer look at the fridge, and there's a job that I've got to tackle here, and I'm a little bit nervous about it. Now you can see this is the fridge itself, and you can see on the side just here, this is the compressor unit. This compressor unit can be moved to the back, which is where it'll come in standard, or you can also move it to the right hand side over here. There are holes front, back and both sides. Alternatively, you can mount this remotely. So if you've got the requirement to do so, you can actually take this off, mount it somewhere else. I like to be able to take that box in the back of the Pajero in and out. I made it really light using the connected stuff. Again, there's a link up to the video of me creating that and how I went about that. I used to have a timber box frame, then I went to the connected frame, the aluminium frame, so much lighter. The aluminium one, I can literally carry it above my head if I so chose. I don't, but I can. And just be able to pick it up, move it out, throw it under the cover, have the Pajero empty and go and, you know, use it for other means is great. If I mount this down permanently into that means when that box comes out, I need to be lifting an additional 15-20 kilos, which I don't want to do. And the one thing that I'm mainly concerned about is this here is copper hose. Now this is what runs obviously all the coolant in through to the fridge. Runs off here, around to the back and over to the compressor. Now when you move this, you need to re-bend this copper. Now there's some wires running with that as well. We don't care about the wires, we can handle those. I need to re-twist this copper hose. We need to get that back around here and twist this copper pipe. Now as standard, that copper pipe has a number of different twists and coils here before it runs down to the compressors. Now I need to replicate that to get that compressor on the back, which is going to be a little bit of a challenge, frankly. I'm not looking forward to it. This might end up being how not to. It's starting to rain, so we need to let's get under this little bit of cover that we've got. So the three-way fridge is finally going to come in handy for something. What I've also noticed is the wiring on here for the power is also probably what I would call substandard, so I am going to upgrade that as part of the process. It's a copper that goes up there. I'm going to have to be very wary of that, so I'm going to have to, when I start bending, I'm going to have to try and keep close to this. I can probably release a lot of these wires that are going down the back here, and we can reconnect those later on. So if you're doing this, we've got brown on bottom, space blue, space black red. So that's for our temp sensor. This is for our fan, and this one up here is for our 12 volt or 12 volt input. And this is a coil we need to be very careful of that we don't break. So we'll try and keep that as much as in situ as we can. Now, in moving this pipe, I do need to give consideration to the fact that it's already been moved before. So, you know what metal's like, you bend it a couple of times in the one spot, and you can break it. Just not bugger it, basically. Mounting bolts that are actually holding this to the frame are, yep, they're all an Allen key, 5 or even a 6. 5. Okay. Oh, okay. I'm really hoping this part goes smoothly. I'm just worried about that copper pipe. Now, I have looked online. I haven't been able to see anybody actually manipulating the copper pipe. There were some suggestions just to hold it on both sides of the bend, which we'll do obviously. But, so that's why I wanted to cut this in and do this, just because I wanted, you know, if anybody else was looking at moving it. And the manual is useless as tits on a bull as far as manipulating this section. Just basically says it can be moved. You're like, yeah, great, how? Give me something to work with, some sort of instruction or some sort of advice would be nice, but no. Here is the moment of truth. What I'm going to try and do is take it off and rotate it one full 360 degrees, which will put a partial loop in this, and in theory, bring that back to lining up with the back of the unit and then mount it on. Now obviously I can't just bring this straight back around, otherwise this hose is going to be sitting out there. I can't just put it in place then manipulate the hose because it's going to get twists in it. So we need to rotate this whole unit. Careful here because I'm getting quite the bend in this section here. So that's roughly how we want it, but we need another twist. Just going to try and turn it and just see where the copper pipe wants to get its own twists and try and work with that. Alright, so we're about done our 360. If you've got an extra pair of hands, definitely recommended, but you've got knees, use them. I'm just filling all the copper hose just to make sure there's no kinks or anything in it. I think that's okay. Because they put that insulation, I can't actually see the pipe, but just through feeling it, I can't feel any bends or twists or anything that are going to give us any grief, so fingers crossed. Here's our little fan. Now I've got a feeling that might only be a 40mm or something like that, so it's only a small computer fan, but you can see there is some dust in there. We'll blow that out shortly. For now, I'm happy enough with that. I don't want to mess about with it too much. Okay, so we're back in the back of the Pajero. Now I come out last night and was messing around with it. I like to do all my stuff at night, so I get a little bit motivated for some reason. So I think if I just get a couple of L brackets mounted up against, hard against there, I think we'll be okay. I'm still reasonably happy with the amount of room that I've still got there as far as storage. Got the water, you know, basic recovery kit, dog's bowl, fire starters, recovery blanket, another spare chair. As you can see, there's my table. Now that is just on some rubber bungee straps. Just put a couple of hooks on, top and bottom, just some short rubber bungee straps. Basically what I do is just hook that up there when I want to take it out. Obviously unhook them, take the table out, and we're good to go. That used to sit on the bottom, but I was finding I was putting heaps of stuff on top of it, and when you put stuff on top of it, you're inclined not to get it out. Perfect. So I guess the question is, what she looked like inside, and that's it, just there, the side of the vehicle, you can see. It's as far as we can get that open, but as you can see, that's plenty of room to access everything that I need in there. That's going to be fine. I'm only going to be carrying drinks and stuff, maybe the occasional grocery shop, but I can throw stuff in there. We can reach the thermostat just there, nice and easy. This space here was pretty much spot on, this height. There was a rubber foot on the bottom of this side. I had to take that off to actually get that to fit. That's how close it was, but you can see that's locking up and not going to open up. Another benefit of having it just inside there, when that door closes up, that's going to stop that fridge from opening up. I just see Ronnie Dahl had an issue with his angle opening up during transit, but that's obviously going to stop that once I get that mounted down a little bit firmer. But I don't think that's really going anywhere at this point. If I was camping, I'd have to climb up in this side, which was okay because it was under the Foxwing side if it was raining. But it was just a bit of a nuisance to get up and get in. If I wanted to get out, obviously I can't open that back door from inside, so I would have had to, you know, swing my bum around and get out like this. But now I'm going to have easy access from this side door. I can stop here. I can take my shoes off. You know, if I've got dirty shoes, which was a bit of an issue on the other side. What I might do is come up with some sort of a drop-down table or something that I can have here. I can have a meal or something like that. As a general rule, it gives me back all of that space in here. So lots of benefits to be had here. Be accessing the car now from that side, which means I can, you know, climb up easy, take my shoes off. I might turn that little space into a bed for the dog. He normally just sleeps over on that front seat. Camping, I don't have to climb up that one, albeit that I can if it's raining. Foxwing awning is going to be on that side. I can still get up that way if I need to, but it's much easier getting up on that side. It's out of the sun. It's not getting direct sun on it when I'm parked up somewhere. Albeit that I can put my solar screens in if I need to. But if I haven't got those set up and I'm just pulling up for a short amount of period, then it's out of the sun. It's got a big enough box in there. It's gonna, that heat's gonna dissipate. It's gonna get away. It's dead quiet. I can't even hear it now. I'll be curious to see what it does on HF. Whether it interferes with the radio at all. Nobody can see it. That's a bit of a bonus as well. Not that I think people are inclined to pinch fridges or anything like that, but I think if they see things in the cars that are interesting, and they want to get in and have a look, see what else you got in there, so that takes that away. Mainly just a space saving really, and it's pretty efficient little fridge as well. 2.5 amps when it's running. It doesn't sound like it runs too often. It's one of the things I pay attention to when I get a new fridge, is how often is it circulating, what's the cycle. And this one barely runs at all, so I think it's fairly efficient as far as the cabinet design and that sort of stuff goes. It's nice to be able to change where you want the compressor, whether you want that on the front or back, or on either the sides, or mount it remotely. That could have come in handy as well, albeit not that we're required for this situation. And I think it looks bloody good. The only issue is that I can't open it completely with that door in the way, unfortunately. That'd be nice if I could do that, but I don't think that's going to happen. So that's it, guys. That's another little project ticked off, one I wasn't expecting to do this weekend. I'm pretty happy about that. What I do want to do, hopefully soon, is get in behind this panel here. I know a few people have asked me about pulling that out. I want to run a couple of Anderson plugs and just have them mountable here and have them on switches. I wouldn't mind putting the fridge on a switch, and I wouldn't mind doing a work light over the back there somewhere as well. Set up a little charging dock here for my little handheld radio, so I can have a permanent handheld radio over the back, so I can just grab it whether I'm doing spotting or you don't need to be on CB, or it'll be a ham radio as well. And the older HD one will go up there. I've got most of the stuff in here that I want in here now. Now it's going to be, I guess, tidying up and adding all of those little things that I want to put in here. And I want to get around at some point putting a drop-down table on the back of that door as well. So I'll be looking at the Pajero forum for some inspiration, guys. So I might even put up a post and get you guys to show me what you've done. So there you go. That's it. Thanks very much for stopping by. We'll catch you in the next one.